Eleanor, you're in the background. I know you're trying to get a hockey show off the ground. I hope you get that off the ground in one of the hours for Beyond the Game. And I hope Nick takes over for the other hour along with you, Matt. You just got to speak up a little bit there, buddy.
Now, how come, another question, how come you can't stay?
Because I'm going to be at Hofstra. I'm going to be at RHU. And the rule is that you can't be at two radio stations at once.
Oh, so you're going to go to Hofstra?
Yes. As of right now, yes, but things can change.
They're going to have a radio station? They have a radio station over there?
Of course. It's where the Islanders play.
Oh, yeah, okay. Now, do they have, like, a sports show, too?
If they don't, I'm going to make one. All right, Richie, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. All right. Yeah, man alive, that feeds my ego.
He is your biggest fan. I love it.
Richie. I've been speaking to Richie since I did Sports Talk with Chris Muldoon and the home stretch with Anthony Tardamella. Wow. I love Richie. Love him to death. All right, let's take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, because we'll have an exclusive interview with Chuck Kimberly coming up next. He's the author of The Days of Rube, Matty, Honus and Ty. But first, I got to tell you about a great show that we have on this station. It's Metal for the Masses. It's on Sundays at midnight. Join host Rob Brill for a mix of extreme metal music, plus interviews with bands from the Long Island heavy metal scene. Chuck Kimberly interview coming up next on Beyond the Game on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Paralyzed veterans Sean Housestead and Noah Courier.
I was Air Force from 93 to 98. I got hurt practicing combat search and rescue, fell off a fast rope, so shattered L1 vertebrae. I don't know where I'd be without paralyzed veterans. I've only seen that now.
Unite through struggle. You know, that's what the Marine Corps and service is all about. You get tight, and those bonds just get stronger and stronger the more you struggle together, and the harder the hardship. And I don't know if it gets any harder than being a quadriplegic, so, you know, we instantly bond.
Paralyzed Veterans of America is a nonprofit, and it gets no federal funding.
And we provide every service free of charge to every veteran and caregiver that we support.
Paralyzed veteran and PVA Executive Director Sherman Gillums Jr.
Every life, every success, every recovery, it's tied to the initial investment you've had in us.
To learn more, visit pva.org. A public service message from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Alexa, can you please do my food shopping today?
Food shopping today added to your shopping list.
Alexa, can you do my math homework for me?
I'm not sure.
Alexa, play WHPC.
Play WHPC.
You can now listen to the Voice of Nassau Community College on your Amazon Echo.
Simply say, Alexa, play WHPC.
I am already playing WHPC.
Sorry. So go ahead and buy a silicone steamer in the shape of a faceless melting pig.
Buy a silicone steamer in the shape of a faceless melting pig.
Yeah, that exists. And while you shop, play WHPC.
Or buy a headband with a mullet hair attached to it.
I refuse to buy a headband with mullet hair attached to it.
Yeah, that exists too. Not sure why. But when you buy it, you can play WHPC.
So play WHPC on your Amazon device today.
And thanks for listening to 90.3 WHPC.
You are listening to Beyond the Game on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I am Jake Volk. Sitting across from me, Dominic Arbolino, Eric Fischetti, and Matt Charkowick. And we are fortunate enough to be joined by Chuck Kimberly, the author of The Days of Rube, Matty, Honus and Ty, and also The Days of Wee Willie, Old Cy, and Baseball War. Chuck, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. So, what can you tell us about Jake Beckley?
About Jake Beckley?
Yeah.
Well, he's a Hall of Fame first baseman who played from about 1888 up to 1906 or 1907. He started out as one of the top sluggers and in the National League. And as he grew older, he learned to bunt and worked on hitting to the opposite field. As a result, as he grew older, he actually got better in some respects against the rest of the league each year. And he's in the Hall of Fame. Some people question his qualifications for being there, but if you look closely, he actually had a very good career and probably qualifies.
All right, so can you lay out for us the career of Jack Chesbro?
Jack who?
Jack Chesbro.
Spell the last name.
Jack Chesbro, former New York Highlander.
Chesbro. Oh, yeah. Well, he came up with the Pirates around 1898, 1899, was part of the pitching rotation that won pennants for the Pirates in 1901 and 1902, and jumped to the New York Highlanders in 1903. 1904, he was pitching in Cleveland early in the spring, around in May sometime, and didn't seem to have much on the ball, so he went up to his manager, Clark Griffith, and said, "Hey, I'm going to start using that trick pitch that I've been working on for the last year." And the trick pitch was a spitball, and it worked so well that he won 41 games that year, and kind of revolutionized baseball for a few years.
Now, what can you tell us about Ty Cobb's career?
About his career?
That's right.
Well, I first started following baseball closely in the late 40s and early 50s. I'm kind of old. And at that time, there were lots of people around who would say Babe Ruth was the second greatest hitter who ever lived. The greatest was Ty Cobb. So, and he batted over 400 3 times, has the highest lifetime batting average.
So what can you tell us about the 1906 Chicago White Sox?
The hitless wonders.
Absolutely.
They finished last in the league in batting average with an average of about 230, and they finished about third in runs scored. They were known for their use of what they call then scientific baseball, what we call inside baseball now. They just took advantage of every opportunity that presented itself. I have a quote in my book from a sports writer who said they stick to the game like a burr to a muse's tail.
Talking to Chuck Kimberly, the author of the Days of Rube, Matty, Honus and Ty, and also the Days of Wee Willie, Old Cy, and Baseball War. So can you lay out for us the career of John McGraw?
Spell the last name again.
Former manager of the New York Giants, MC.
Oh, John McGraw.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to excuse me. I'm
Don't worry about it.
losing a little bit of my hearing, so I may ask you to repeat once in a while.
On Monday, I had laser eye surgery, and I'm still not fully recovered. So it's the blind leading the blind here. We're all good.
Okay. You want me to summarize his career?
Yeah.
As a player or a manager? Or
and no one remembers him as a player. They just remember him as a manager.
Okay. Well, he was a very good player. You know, he was, part of the great Orioles teams of the 1890s, and he got on base at a tremendously high percentage, somewhat close to Barry Bonds for his career. He started managing in 1899 when the Baltimore and Brooklyn teams were combined under the same ownership, and Ned Hanlon took most of the top Orioles stars to Brooklyn and had a great team in 1899 and 1900. And McGraw and Wilbur Robinson stayed in Baltimore, and McGraw surprised everybody by bringing Baltimore in fourth. And he was one of the principal organizers of the American League when it was formed in 1901. He managed the Orioles in 1901 and 1902. And midway through, he quarreled with Van Johnson all the time because McGraw was very bad about jumping all over the umpires. And midway through 1902, he jumped to the New York Giants and took many of his ball players with him, his top players. Joe McGinnity being one, Iron Man McGinnity, Roger Bresnan. And he won his first pennant, and the Giants finished last in 1902, and he was very successful in a counter raid against the American League for his 1903 team. And didn't hurt any that he took the Baltimore players with him. But anyway, they finished second in 1903. He won his first pennant in 1904 and won 106 games, which was a National League record for a couple years.
And refused to play in the World Series that year because he thought the American League was an inferior league.
Yes. Well, I doubt if he really thought that, but he and John Brush, who is the Giants owner, they at least tried to say that.
All right, so would you be able to describe to us the career of Matty McIntyre?
Well, somewhat. Matty McIntyre played for the Tigers. He was one of Connie Mack's players in 1901 or 1902 with the Philadelphia A's. Went to the minor leagues and then back up with Detroit. And he was a pretty good left fielder. Hit okay, fielded okay. He's probably best known for getting into constant fights with Ty Cobb.
A lot of people did that.
Yes.
Including a certain umpire.
Now, what can you tell us about Kid Nichols?
Kid Nichols was pitcher for the Boston Beaneaters from roughly 1890 or 91 up until, I think his last year with Beaneaters was 1901. And he, when other people were leaving the Beaneaters because the Triumvirs, which was the owners, were known to be penny pinchers, and most of the other Beaneaters jumped to the American League. Nichols got a job as owner and manager in Kansas City. He pitched for 2 years there, and then became manager and pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals in 1904, where he won 20 games, 21, something like that, in 1904. And in 1905, he got into a quarrel with ownership, and he had some arm problems. He ended up, I don't know the exact number, it's something like 363 career victories, which places him like 4th or 5th on the all-time list. And if you figure he was still pitching very well in 1901, and he pitched well in 1902, 3, and 4. So in 1902 and 3, when he was winning 20 games for Kansas City, he probably would have won 12 20 games or close to that each year in the major leagues had he been